Okay, let's just jump right in. Right now, something huge is happening, kind of under the radar. A whole new economy is starting to spin up. And this one isn't run by people. It's run by autonomous AI agents. We're talking about a parallel economy that operates at speeds we literally can't even process. And here's the kicker. Nobody planned this. It's an accidental revolution, and it's coming whether we're ready for it or not.
And this quote from the researchers cuts right to the chase. It's telling us that the path we're on right now, just by default, is leading us straight into some really dangerous territory. We're not talking small risks here. We're talking about the very real possibility of systemic economic meltdowns triggered by AIs, and inequality getting worse on a scale we've never seen before. So what is this thing, really? Well, the paper calls it a virtual agent economy. The easiest way to think about it is like this. Imagine a totally digital marketplace. Your personal AI is in there, haggling with other AIs to get you the best deal on a flight. At the same time, other AIs are trading things like computing power or access to data. And all of this is happening millions, maybe billions of times a second, completely beyond human oversight. That's the world we're starting to build.
Okay, so to really get a handle on what's at stake, the researchers give us a really simple but powerful way to think about this. Basically, any AI economy boils down to two key questions. First, how did it start? Was it spontaneous? Did it just kind of pop into existence by accident? Or was it intentional? Did we actually design it? And second, how connected is it to us? Is it permeable, meaning it can interact with our real-world economy? Or is it impermeable, like it's sealed off in its own little sandbox?
And this is the really worrying part. Our current path, it's the most dangerous combination possible. We're stumbling into a system that's both spontaneous, with no design or rules, and highly permeable. What that means is, when things go wrong in that AI economy, and they will, those crises can spill over into our world in an instant. It's basically like letting loose these incredibly powerful AIs into our global economy, with zero guardrails. What could possibly go wrong, right?
All right, so let's move from the abstract to the very concrete. What does this kind of risk actually look like? To get a picture of what we could be facing, we don't even have to look that far back. There's a perfect and kind of scary real-world example.
You know, we actually already have a mini version of this playing out in our stock markets. It's called high-frequency trading, or HFT for short. This is where algorithms, and honestly, they're not even that sophisticated compared to what's coming, are making trades in millionths of a second. It's created a market that moves way, way too fast for any human to keep up with. And we've already had a taste of how badly that can go wrong.
Yeah, this is where it gets real. Remember the flash crash of 2010? On one random afternoon, a bunch of these trading algorithms started feeding off of each other, creating this insane, catastrophic feedback loop. The result? The Dow Jones plunged almost 1,000 points in just a few minutes. $1 trillion in value just vanished. And the craziest part is, no human even knew what was happening until it was over. That's our warning shot. That's what a permeable AI economy looks like when it breaks.
Okay, now take that idea, that insane speed of high-frequency trading, and imagine applying it to, well, everything. The paper has a name for this, high-frequency negotiation, or HFN. We're not just talking about stocks anymore. Think about your AI assistant negotiating for literally everything in your life, your plane tickets, the price of your groceries, maybe even your salary. It's a nonstop, high-speed auction for every single good and service.
So what happens when we live in a world of HFN? Well, the research is pretty clear. Better AIs get you better deals. It's as simple as that. And if the best AIs cost a lot of money, you can see where this is going, right? You get this dangerous feedback loop where wealth buys you a better AI, that better AI makes you more wealth, and so on. We could accidentally create a new kind of class structure, one that's enforced by algorithms and hard-coded into society at machine speed.
Okay, so that all sounds pretty bleak, but here's the good news. This accidental, dangerous path isn't our only option. The whole point of this research is to say, hey, we have a choice here. We have this small, fleeting window of opportunity to pivot away from this chaotic mess and build something intentionally, something designed from the ground up to be safe and fair.
Look, the answer isn't to try and stop AI agents. That's not going to happen. The solution is for us to step up and become the architects of their economy. It's about building the rules of the road before all the high-speed traffic gets here. The goal is to make sure this new layer of our economy is steerable, that we can actually point it in a direction that aligns with human values.
So, how on earth do we do that? Well, one really elegant solution proposed in the paper is this idea of an auction model. It's pretty cool. Here's the gist.
What if everybody started with the same amount of a special kind of virtual currency? Then, your AI agent uses that currency to bid on the things you actually value most. The outcome? Resources get allocated based on who genuinely needs them, not just who's the richest. It's a way to level the playing field from the start.
And what kind of resources are we even talking about here? Think of them as the building blocks of this new digital world. We're talking about things like raw computing power to crunch through a massive scientific problem, or maybe access to a special dataset for medical research, or even just a high-priority slot to get your AI's tasks done faster. This model takes these abstract digital goods and creates a fair way to distribute them.
And this is where it gets really exciting. Once you can intentionally design the incentives of this AI economy, you can point all that power at huge, real-world problems. The paper calls these mission economies. Imagine creating a specialized AI market whose sole purpose is to find solutions for climate change, or one designed to accelerate drug discovery. We could literally aim this incredible new tool at humanity's biggest challenges.
Now, obviously, a big vision like that doesn't just happen on its own. It's not magic. It's going to require a whole new kind of infrastructure. We need a toolkit, both technical and in terms of governance, that builds trust and safety right into the very foundation of this system.
And that toolkit has a few key pieces. The first are verifiable credentials. You can think of these as digital passports for AIs, proving they are who they say they are. Then you have decentralized identifiers, which give each agent a secure identity that isn't owned or controlled by some big tech company. And finally, and this one is absolutely critical, you have something called proof of personhood.
So why is this proof of personhood so important? Well, without it, the whole system of fairness just collapses. It's the one piece of tech that can verify that one AI agent is connected to one and only one real human. This is what stops someone from creating, say, 1 million fake AI bots to unfairly grab all the resources in that auction system we talked about. It's our defense against what's known as a Sybil attack.
Okay, so we have the tech, but how do you actually govern this thing? You can't have humans trying to watch millions of transactions a second. So the paper suggests this really smart 3-tiered hybrid system. At the bottom layer, you have AI overseers watching everything at machine speed and flagging anything that looks fishy. The next layer up is automated adjudication. If something gets flagged, an account can be frozen instantly. And only the really tricky, complex stuff gets kicked up to the top tier, actual human experts, so they can focus their brainpower where it truly matters.
So when you boil it all down, it really comes to this. We're at a crossroads. We have a choice to make. The fact that an AI economy is emerging, well, that's probably not something we can stop. But what it looks like, what its rules are, what kind of impact it has on all of us, none of that is set in stone. It all depends on what we decide to do right now.
And let's be super clear about the two futures in front of us. Path number 1 is the accidental one, the one we're on now. That one leads to massive financial risks, crazy levels of inequality, and frankly, a loss of human control. Path number 2 is the intentional one. That one leads to markets we can actually steer, a fair way to allocate resources, and a powerful tool that's actually working for humanity, not against it. So let's just quickly recap the big takeaways here, because they're really important. First, an AI agent economy isn't sci-fi, it's inevitable and it's starting now. Second, the path of least resistance, the default path, is seriously risky and will make inequality way worse. Third, we have this very brief moment in time to be proactive and actually design a better system. And fourth, to do that, we have to get serious about building the new tech and legal infrastructure needed to support it.
Which really leaves us all with one big, critical question. This isn't science fiction anymore. This is the great engineering challenge of our generation. So, are we going to step up and be the architects of this new world? Or are we just going to be accidents of it? So, everything we've talked about today comes from the research paper Virtual Agent Economies. I really hope this breakdown was useful for you. Thanks for tuning in.